Are you currently using plant-based protein products or supplements? Have you ever had your GFR or kidney function formally tested? Have you had a doctor bring up kidney health in the context of your diet? Drop your answer in the comments below because I read every single one of them, and your experience might be exactly what another viewer in this community needs to hear. If someone in your life is over 60 and you think this information would matter to them, please share this video with them. Not because it is dramatic or scary, but because it is practical, it is real, and it is the kind of health conversation that most routine doctor visits simply do not have enough time to cover. Take care of your kidneys. They have been quietly working for you every minute of every day of your entire life. They deserve that same care in return. You have probably heard your whole life that eating healthy means eating natural, whole foods, and for most of your life, that advice served you well. But here is something that almost nobody is talking about, and it is something that could be quietly affecting your kidneys right now, especially if you are over 60. There is a food that doctors recommend, that nutritionists praise, that your grocery store literally markets as heart healthy and good for your body, and yet, for people over the age of 60, eating this food regularly could be one of the worst things you are doing for your kidney health. And the frightening part is not just that this food is harmful. The frightening part is how gentle and gradual the damage is. Your kidneys do not send you pain signals until they are already working at a fraction of their normal capacity. Most people feel absolutely fine. They feel energetic, their blood work looks okay at the surface level, and they keep eating this food day after day, year after year, completely unaware. So if you are over 60, or if you have a loved one who is, please stay with me for the next few minutes, because what you are about to hear could genuinely change the way you eat and protect one of the most vital organs in your body. Let us start by talking about your kidneys, because most people underestimate them. Your kidneys are two fist-sized organs sitting just below your rib cage, one on each side of your spine, and every single day they filter about 150 quarts of blood. That is an extraordinary amount of work. They pull out waste products, they regulate the balance of fluids in your body, they control blood pressure, they activate vitamin D, and they send signals to your bones to produce red blood cells. Your kidneys are not passive filters. They are active, hormonal, chemical processing powerhouses. And for most of your life, from your 20s through your 50s, your kidneys can handle an enormous amount of stress. They have tremendous reserve capacity. In fact, you can lose up to 40% of your kidney function and still feel completely normal with no symptoms at all. That is how resilient they are. But here is the critical shift that happens after 60. After the age of 60, kidney function naturally begins to decline. This is not a disease. This is biology. Starting around your late 40s and early 50s, your kidneys begin to lose a small percentage of their filtering ability each year. By the time you are 60, 65, 70, that natural decline adds up. And this matters enormously, because the reserve capacity that protected you in your younger years begins to narrow. Your kidneys are still doing their job, but they are working with less buffer room. They are more sensitive to what you eat, more sensitive to how much you drink, and more sensitive to the chemical burden you place on them. Now here is where the food comes in, and I want you to pay very close attention to this next part. The food I am talking about is plant-based protein, specifically the kind that comes packaged and marketed as a health food. Now, before you stop me, I am not talking about vegetables. I am not telling you that broccoli is bad for you or that eating a salad is going to hurt your kidneys. What I am specifically talking about is the heavy, concentrated, high-protein plant foods that have exploded in popularity over the past decade. Foods like protein-packed legume pastas, pea protein powders, soy protein isolates, ultra-processed plant-based meat substitutes, and high-dose protein supplements marketed toward older adults for muscle preservation. These products are specifically engineered and marketed to people over 60, often with the message that older adults need more protein to prevent muscle loss, which is true. Older adults do need adequate protein. But here is the problem, and this is where the research gets really interesting and really concerning. Your kidneys process waste from protein metabolism. When your body breaks down protein, whether from meat, fish, dairy, or plants, it produces nitrogen-containing waste products. These waste products have to be filtered out by your kidneys. In younger adults with full kidney function, this is no problem at all. But in older adults whose kidney function has naturally declined, a chronic high load of protein metabolic waste begins to accumulate faster than it can be cleared. And over time, this creates a condition called hyperfiltration, where the kidneys work so hard to compensate that the filtering units inside them, called nephrons, begin to suffer structural damage. Now, here is the thing that surprises most people. Research published in leading nephrology journals has found that while animal protein sources, like red meat, are well documented as hard on kidney health, many older adults have shifted toward plant protein products, thinking they are making a safer, kidney-friendly choice. And in some cases, they are actually adding an unexpected strain. Not because plant protein is inherently toxic to kidneys, but because of what else is packed into these modern, ultra-processed plant protein products. Here is what I want you to think about. That plant-based protein shake you are drinking every morning, or that pea protein powder you are adding to your smoothie, or those soy-based meat substitute burgers you switch to for your heart. These products frequently contain extremely high amounts of potassium and phosphorus. And for people over 60 with any degree of age-related kidney decline, excessive potassium and phosphorus are genuinely dangerous. Let me explain why. Because this is the part that most people, including many doctors in routine checkups, do not emphasize enough. Healthy kidneys regulate potassium and phosphorus levels in your blood within a very narrow range. When kidney function is optimal, eating high potassium or high phosphorus foods is generally fine because your kidneys keep those levels balanced automatically. But once kidney function declines, even modestly, that regulation becomes less reliable. Potassium starts to accumulate in the bloodstream. And elevated potassium in the blood, a condition called hyperkalemia, is not just uncomfortable, it is dangerous. It affects the electrical system of your heart. It can cause irregular heart rhythms, muscle weakness, and in severe cases, sudden cardiac arrest. Phosphorus accumulation is equally serious. When phosphorus builds up in the blood, it pulls calcium out of your bones, which weakens your bone structure and simultaneously hardens your blood vessels and heart tissue. Cardiologists call this process vascular calcification, and it dramatically increases the risk of heart attack and stroke in older adults. Now, here is the part one really want you to sit with. Most plant-based protein products are extraordinarily high in both of these minerals. A single serving of a popular pea protein powder can contain over 300 milligrams of potassium and a significant amount of phosphorus. A serving of some plant-based meat substitutes contains even more, often combined with added sodium and chemical preservatives that place additional burden on the kidneys. When you are eating these products daily, sometimes multiple times a day because you have been told to prioritize protein as you age, you are repeatedly loading your already aging kidneys with a mineral burden they are increasingly less equipped to handle. And because the damage accumulates gradually and silently over months and years, there is no dramatic warning sign. You just slowly, quietly move from early kidney decline toward moderate kidney disease without ever knowing why. According to data from the National Kidney Foundation, approximately 1 in 3 American adults over the age of 65 has some degree of chronic kidney disease, and the majority of them are completely unaware of it. Think about that for a moment. 1 in 3. And chronic kidney disease is not just a kidney problem. It multiplies your risk of cardiovascular disease by a factor of 2 to 4. It increases your risk of developing type 2 diabetes complications. It reduces your body's ability to process certain medications safely, which becomes critically important as you age and prescription use increases. Once kidney disease reaches a moderate to advanced stage, your options narrow significantly. There is no drug you can take to regenerate damaged nephrons. The treatment is management, dietary restriction, blood pressure control, and, if the disease progresses far enough, dialysis. This is why prevention and early awareness matter so much more than treatment. So let me now get very practical with you because I do not want to leave you with fear. I want to leave you with clarity and action. First, if you are over 60 and you currently use plant-based protein powders or supplements, or you regularly eat processed plant-based meat products, I want to encourage you to have a conversation with your doctor about getting a comprehensive kidney function panel. This is not just a creatinine level on your basic metabolic panel. A proper kidney function assessment includes your GFR, which is your glomerular filtration rate, your BUN to creatinine ratio, and a urine microalbumin test. These three together give a much more complete picture of how your kidneys are actually functioning. Many doctors do not order all three routinely, so being proactive and asking specifically for them is important. Second, consider shifting how you think about protein. Your protein needs as an older adult are real and important. Muscle preservation matters enormously for your independence, your metabolic health, and your longevity. But the source and form of your protein matters too. Whole food protein sources, including eggs, fish, lean poultry, and modest amounts of legumes like lentils and chickpeas prepared from scratch rather than ultra-processed, tend to have a gentler mineral profile than engineered protein concentrates. If you want to use a protein supplement, working with a registered dietitian who has experience in kidney health can help you choose a product with a lower potassium and phosphorus load that still meets your muscle building needs. Third, and this one is incredibly simple but profoundly underestimated, drink more water consistently. Your kidneys depend on adequate hydration to flush waste efficiently. One of the most common contributors to kidney stress in older adults is chronic mild dehydration. As you age, your sensation of thirst becomes less reliable. You can be genuinely dehydrated and feel no thirst at all. Research has shown that many older adults are in a state of chronic mild dehydration throughout the day, and this alone accelerates the natural decline in kidney filtration. Aiming for at least 6 to 8 cups of plain water daily, spread throughout the day rather than all at once, creates a meaningful and measurable difference in how well your kidneys can do their job. Fourth, pay attention to your blood pressure. High blood pressure is the second leading cause of kidney disease after diabetes. And here is the frustrating relationship between the two. Declining kidney function raises blood pressure, and high blood pressure accelerates kidney damage. It is a destructive cycle. If your blood pressure has been creeping upward in your 60s, treating it aggressively with lifestyle changes and, if necessary, medication is one of the most protective things you can do for your kidneys. Even reducing your systolic blood pressure by 10 points meaningfully slows the rate of kidney function decline, according to multiple large clinical trials. Fifth, review the labels on everything you eat that comes in a package. The phosphorus and potassium content of packaged foods is not always listed prominently, but you can look for these words on ingredient labels: phosphoric acid, disodium phosphate, potassium chloride, potassium citrate. When you see these additives, particularly in products you eat regularly, that is a signal to moderate your intake. Phosphorus from food additives is actually absorbed more readily by your body than the naturally occurring phosphorus in whole foods, which makes additive phosphorus particularly problematic for aging kidneys. Now, I want to circle back to something because I think it is important that you understand the broader picture here. The food industry has done an extraordinary job of marketing plant-based protein as universally healthy and universally appropriate for all age groups. The message of eating more plants and getting adequate protein as you age is genuinely good advice in principle. The problem is that the industrial execution of that advice, the protein powders, the pea-based shakes, the ultra-processed meat substitutes packed with additives, was never specifically designed with the aging kidney in mind. These products were designed for younger, performance-focused consumers and then cross-marketed to older adults riding the wave of plant-based health trends. Your body after 60 is not the same as a 30-year-old athlete's body, and your kidneys, in particular, deserve a nutritional strategy that reflects that reality. There is also an important psychological dimension to this that I want to acknowledge. Many people over 60 who are eating these products are doing so because they are genuinely trying to take care of themselves. They have read the headlines about plant-based diets and heart health. They have been told by well-meaning friends, family members, and sometimes even health content creators that switching to plant protein is a smart, forward-thinking health choice. And I want to be very clear that their motivation is admirable. The problem is not that they made a bad decision with bad intentions. The problem is that the information they received was incomplete for their age group. And that is exactly why conversations like this one matter. I also want to mention one more food category that often gets overlooked in kidney health discussions for people over 60, and that is the category of so-called natural herbal supplements and tonics marketed specifically for older adults. Many of these products, things like concentrated herbal kidney cleanse blends, high-dose antioxidant supplements, and concentrated green superfood powders, contain exceptionally high amounts of the same minerals we discussed, potassium, phosphorus, and oxalate, which is a compound that in high concentrations contributes to kidney stone formation and tubular damage. The word natural on a supplement label does not mean kidney safe, especially for an aging body. If you take herbal supplements regularly, reviewing each one with your pharmacist or physician specifically through the lens of kidney health is a genuinely worthwhile conversation to have. Here is the takeaway I want you to carry with you. Your kidneys after 60 are doing remarkable work every single day under conditions that are more challenging than they were in your younger years. They deserve your attention and your protection. The damage that comes from dietary choices is not dramatic and is not immediate, which makes it easy to ignore and easy to miss. But it is cumulative and it is real. Choosing whole food protein sources over ultra-processed protein concentrates, staying consistently hydrated, monitoring your blood pressure, getting regular kidney function testing, and reading your ingredient labels are 5 practical, doable things that together create a meaningful shield around your kidney health as you age. Before I wrap up, I would genuinely love to hear from you.